up, everyone? Welcome to the NoLife Tech Podcast. Today, got an interesting show for you lined up. Some news, some stuff we want to chat about, and we'll be on our very merry way. Make sure you hit up our Twitter and our Instagram at NoLifeDigital, as well as our website, NoLife.digital, Discord as well. All the stuff and links are in the description and the description of the show notes. Hit us up, follow us, check us out. Got some content coming for you. All right, let's get into it. What's up, dudes? Have you guys watched Secession yet on HBO? I know I talked about it last week.
I haven't gotten around to it yet.
Oh man, it's so
I'm so backed
good.
up on watching. I still haven't watched the Defiant ones.
Just don't even watch that.
Or the Robin Williams documentary.
Don't watch that either.
Or they were good.
No, they're boring. I just told you what to watch, dude. Just watch Secession. No, the Robin Williams thing is okay. I don't know. It's not that interesting of a story to me. His story. You know what I mean? He was just a goofy ass dude who, you know, had some interesting roles, but was like severely depressed throughout his entire life. And he ended up, you know, unfortunately taking his own life. But it wasn't like, I don't know, the documentary didn't do a good job of making him seem like Robin Williams, if that makes any sense. You know, like it didn't show him off to be like this epic figure that he really was, because he was like an iconic guy. It was more of just like a PBS documentary. That's what it kind of felt like to me, where it's just like, okay, this is what happened. You know what I mean?
So it's very straight and narrow.
Yeah, straight and narrow. You got a little bit of the behind the scenes look, which you wouldn't get anywhere else, which is kind of cool. The thing with Robin Williams for me is like, he was like sort of like the thing with Jim Carrey, where it's like they're just always so goofy. There's like I feel like they never showed any like vulnerable aspect of their life, which just kind of pushes me away from them. Like, I'm not a big fan of Jim Carrey because of that. Like, more so nowadays, because now he's becoming more vulnerable, especially after all the shit that's happening to him. But it's like, you know, when the cameras are off, you don't always have to be that crazy, goofy dude. Always have to, you know, he's like the guy that every time you say something, there's a pun that comes right after it. And it kind of gets tiresome for me. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
But I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of the documentary. And I didn't really, the Defiant ones is okay. It's kind of interesting. The Eminem one's pretty good. That's about it. I would watch Secession. It's about to finish. Next week is the season finale. And I would also highly recommend you guys start watching Teen Mom. You think I'm kidding, dude?
I'm done.
Teen Mom.
Bye.
Yes, I'm telling
Podcast is
you.
over.
All right. Well, it was nice seeing y'all. I'll see you later. Before he starts suggesting we watch the the Jersey Shore family reunion show.
I'm telling you.
I mean, I don't know.
You know that
Wayne,
I like
Wayne
good TV.
Wayne GTL Walker over here. You know, Jim Tam Laundry.
All right, let me ask you something. Why won't you watch it?
Because I don't
Teen Mom?
have anything related to Kim Kardashian.
I won't watch Teen
Kardashian.
Mom.
I want to know why you guys don't want to watch it.
Because I've had enough of my family members actually be a teen mom to watch a documentary bullshit show about it.
But it's so dark, dude. It's so... If you like dark...
To be fair, in college, we would all get inebriated and then watch Intervention.
It's darker than Intervention. I could
There
safely
was
say
some
that.
really dark Intervention episodes.
Oh, Intervention's one of my favorite shows.
Listerine Mom. That was
Yeah.
a good one.
Dude, how about the one where the kid was on...
Fentanyl Girl.
No, how about the one where the kid was on bath salts and then he ended up losing his mind at the end? Like he just never was right ever again.
I mean, there was the one that was right in Camden with the best cry ever.
Yeah, and I'm telling
On a boxer.
and I'm telling you, Teen Mom is darker than that.
We were addicted to Intervention.
Okay,
Yeah, I would prefer to watch Happy Things.
I can understand that. I can understand that. I don't know. This is season finale tonight, dude. I'm so pumped for it, dude. Dude, Janelle Evans she's this crazy teen mom. The last episode
You know what? I leave that kind of stuff to like watch the PewDiePie highlights, and
I was thinking about doing like a fucking fan
Do you
club.
watch the Real Housewives of New Jersey?
No. I don't watch any of that because that stuff's garbage. Okay, so when I'm telling you that this is a good show,
You liked Honey Boo Boo?
there's a it's like what Jerry said. It's like you're watching like they're so relatable because they're just normal people who kind of fell into this weird world and had kids, and they're still fucked up. Like they're still crazy people. So
And they're
it
all
gets-
on Tinder, from my experience.
it gets crazy. I don't know about that. You
Every
might-
22
you might
year,
be
23 year old you see with a kid, you know, mom, single mom, single mom, single mom.
Yeah,
Swipe left, swipe left, swipe
I
left.
highly recommend it. I highly recommend it. And it's
I
and
highly
Secession
recommend
HBO.
the fact that Sharknado 6 is being made.
6?
6.
I thought the first one just came out.
Nope.
Like last
6,
year.
The final Sharknado is coming out.
Oh my god.
You know what's bad when
How does
they're
that even
making-
get funding?
It makes money, dude.
people love
That's crazy.
really
I'm in that
television.
camp of sci-fi originals are my go-to.
Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus.
Dude, it's all about
Even though they're making essentially a
Whale.
Mega Shark movie, like a legitimate movie with Jason Statham called The Meg.
that's
Megalodon?
great.
Yeah, no. When I saw it, I was like, are they really making a Mega Shark like movie? Like this is something I would see on Sci-Fi Channel.
Nah, dude, it's all about Whale Wolf. He's half whale, half werewolf.
I thought you said
it's an
werewolf at first.
Can I just say,
Whale Wolf.
you
Fucking
can
whale wolf.
You can watch that, but go watch the trailer for Godzilla King of the Monsters and tell me you ain't hyped for that shit.
Or you could just watch Teen Mom and watch Janelle pull a gun out on a hillbilly with her child in the front seat. That's the type of darkness that we get into over here on the great MTV, the great journalistic standards of MTV.
Do you remember when MTV stood for actual music?
Oh, here we
No,
go.
we were
These
we
kids
weren't
these
born
days.
Before then.
How do you do, fellow kids?
I
We
mean, at
weren't
least they had
alive for that.
TRL when I was a kid.
No, I agree. They don't play music anymore. But as long as they keep playing Teen Mom, I don't care, dude. All right. There's really
16 pregnant.
I don't think there's any other new shows that I've been watching other than Orange is the New Black. Their new season just came out. That's a good show too. The new season was pretty good. I just binged it in the last few days. But I don't know if I highly recommend it. You have to watch it. It's pretty long. All right.
Did you watch? I haven't watched it yet. Luke Cage season 2.
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I haven't either yet.
I didn't even know that came out.
I saw the trailer for Iron Fist season 2 as well. which,
I'm still
hopefully
kind of
doesn't-
behind on a lot of those superhero ones.
I'm so behind, but I'm starting to watch them at work since my usual podcast, like daily podcast, is
Yeah.
taking a week off. So I've been catching up on Netflix shows.
Yeah, I still have to finish Jessica Jones. I haven't even finished that one yet, so I'm a little bit behind.
I'm catching up on Airplane vs Volcano.
Lord,
How
That's
does an
also
airplane beat a
another
volcano?
Nope, that's an actual movie. Nope,
I'm-
it's about an airplane pilot who gets trapped in this flying over this place that's just got like 80,000 erupting volcanoes.
What the fuck? That's a sci-fi original?
of course it is.
I like it though. I like that there's someone out there funding
Oh,
these
yeah.
movies.
I forgot. One of the best ones was like it was like the Ark or something like that. You know, it was about them going and finding a bleeding piece of the crucifix that Jesus was attached to in like the Crusades and bringing it back, but it's actually like possessed by an evil spirit.
Did you watch Lavalantula?
No, but I need to. Another good
Lavalantula
one.
was actually enjoyable.
Another good one. Chupacabra versus the Alamo.
Oh my god.
Yeah, when is the new Tremors coming out though? For real.
There's 6 of them. I don't know when the 7th
Hey,
is.
they're all great.
I gotta look at this to see if this is real. Chupacabra versus the Alamo.
Yeah.
Oh, it's real.
It's a real movie.
All I'm saying is
So the Chupacabra looks like a demon chihuahua.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
dude.
mention it. I mention it every time. Did you see the trailer for the new Castlevania season 2?
No, I have not.
It looks good.
Yeah, I still have to watch the first one. I I didn't finish it.
4
I
more
was kind of not
episodes,
into it.
not even 30 minutes. It's not. It's like a movie.
There's so much, dude. There's so much content.
There's
It's
too much
awesome.
content.
No, you can never have too much.
There is too much content. There's
No.
too much.
You can always have more.
My mom just finished watching 13 Reasons Why, like season 2, and I stood in there for like an episode, and I was like, I just don't get this.
It's so, dude. I love how much awesome content there is.
Like
It's so
this,
fun.
dude. It's all about Sharktopus versus Werewolf. So glad this thing actually exists.
I can't believe like these make money.
They target the crowd that likes bad things. They're specifically bad on purpose.
It's like Hallmark movies for guys.
Yeah,
Like it's just really terrible action films.
yeah, I can see that. That actually is a perfect description of these kind of movies.
Like I'm surprised Nick Cage and Bruce Willis aren't in them.
I mean, Nick Cage maybe, but you know, Bruce
You
Willis
see
was in
Bruce
Pulp
Willis
Fiction.
in-
Well, I mean, you see, when you have an evil Dr. Scientist who combines a wolf, you get a werewolf, and the only thing that's strong enough to beat it is a half shark, half octopus,
Sharktopus.
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 I just
And it really is like really bad CGI too.
Yeah.
It's not even
it's
like
awful.
done well.
the best scene though, it will always be the Mega Shark. The Mega Shark
It's
one.
so bad, dude.
And
How
then-
do you watch this? That
There's-
scene where he eats the guy on the ledge is like I mean I could do better
It's just the
effects.
shark half with octopus legs.
Oh my
Saying
god.
go back and look up the scene from Mega Shark where the guy's in the plane and he just looks out the window and all he says he's just like, "Holy shit!" and the shark jumps out of the water to eat the plane. It's the greatest scene of all of those movies.
All right. I'm gonna leave that still up of the Sharktopus on the screen for a little bit.
This is
Alright.
what I watch instead of Teen Mom.
Way
You're
better.
making
I
you're
will
making a
watch
grave
those
mistake.
1,000 times more than Teen Mom.
Nah, you're both making a big mistake. All right, moving on. Let's get into news. We got Sony releasing a stacked CMOS. Doobie, do you know what CMOS means?
Not at all.
You know what a stacked CMOS is?
Nope.
If you have a CMOS and you stack it, do you think it gets better?
I would assume so.
You would be correct. So they got a
stacks on stacks on stacks.
they got a stacked CMOS image sensor for smartphones with industry's highest 48 effective megapixels, featuring the world's first ultra compact pixel size of 0.8 micrometers.
Reminder to our audience, I usually don't sit in the tech portion of the show, so I don't understand a single word he says.
So basically,
He should have. Well, he also should have referenced that it's a camera. What he's talking about, because CMOS actually has multiple different things.
yes, it's a camera sensor. CMOS is essentially like a
It's not the little pin battery on your computer motherboard, which is
No.
also CMOS.
no. This is essentially like the way that this sensor is supposed to read out is like a APS-C sensor, but it's a smaller version of it. So they stack the sensor so it can read out a higher readout. So essentially, what you're getting is a 48 megapixel smartphone camera. That's the practicality of this chip, and from the sample images that we see here, it's fucking crazy if we can get these in our smartphones. This is
Yeah, no,
crazy.
the sample image is really good.
Yeah, this is actually pretty crazy. Now, you're not going to get the depth of field that you would normally get with a APS-C or a full-frame sensor, but that's okay if you're getting the megapixel to make up for it.
Yeah, that's fine if you can still take a picture from a boat and be able to read it.
Yeah,
That's fine.
zoom it in up to 100% and read it perfectly fine. And what's great is with like the software, the way that a lot of the software does the depth of field, it essentially work a lot better if they had a sharper image to work with, and now they do. Now they have a pretty sharp image, so you can get that depth of field just done in a software way, and it'll look pretty good. Hopefully that's what they're gonna do with it. Now it comes with this quad Bayer array, enables both high sensitivity and high resolution. It's kind of the way that the sensor reads color and displays the color. So you can see here in this image that they have like this 4-quadrant readout, and then on the other side it kind of breaks it up into a more diverse pixel, which is sort of a I don't know the exact way to read that off to you, but that's essentially, it's just a more detailed pixel, which is awesome. It's cool seeing this. So right now we can see the key specifications. We're getting 8,000 by 6,000, essentially is what your resolution is going to be with the image. The image size is 8,000 millimeters. The unit cell size is 0.8 micrometers. We're getting 30 frames per second at a full readout. In movie mode, you're getting 4K at 90 frames per second, 1080p at 240 frames per second, and 720p at 480 frames per second with a crop. I'm assuming a two times crop on there. But 4K at 90 frames per second is literally insane. And you can actually get 30 frames per second on the full resolution. On that full 8,000 by 6,000 resolution, you can actually get 30 frames per second. So this is pretty fucking nuts. This little camera sensor here. Hopefully we start to see it in smartphones, but I can only imagine this thing is extremely expensive, and it's going to really increase the cost of a cell phone if it is put in there. I don't know how much, but with 4K at 90 frames, that's fucking nuts. That's insane. That's pretty cool. I want to see it actually work. Right now we just see, this is just like the technical specs of it, but this is a real Sony release, so you expect to see it soon. It's not like a prototype. And then we got the new Corning Gorilla Glass 5, or Gorilla Glass 6 keynote, where basically glass is kind of boring, I guess, but I watched this keynote because I am interested in glass technology for some reason. If you think about it, it is like the most important material in our cell phone other than, I guess, silicon, you know? It's what you kind of interact with. It's the face of the device.
And having it not break is kind of a nice thing.
Yeah. So they were basically showing some testing of them, like how many times they were dropping it. Here's an interesting statistic. The average number of drops per year, most people drop their phone 7 times per year on average, 4 times at a 1 meter height, which is by your waist level, 2 times by your chest, and 1 time above, like by your head area, which is pretty interesting. And when you look at those numbers, they basically test for that 1 meter variant because that's where most people are dropping their phone.
Yeah, that actually sounds kind of accurate too, to be honest.
Yeah, it does. I mean, can't imagine dropping it from my head. So I would even say that for me, it's more.
I couldn't work from old drop sites, things like that. Oh yeah, I can totally see it dropping from that height.
I guess if you're like taking a picture.
Well, it's that too, but I mean, like some workplaces, you have a drop. Like your workspace is at your normal head height.
Yeah.
And like if you have it on a shelf or something, it can just boop.
Yeah, start vibrating and fall off and shit.
Yep.
Yeah, it makes sense. So they were doing a lot of testing at that 1 meter height, and basically it can withstand it. Percentage of people who dropped phones, and 68% dropped their phones at 1 meter. And that's why they kind of do most of their testing. And then 46% by the chest level. So the Gorilla Glass 6 can survive, on average, 15 drops from 1 meter onto rough surfaces and is up to 2 times better than Gorilla Glass 5, survives at higher heights than Gorilla Glass 5. So you can pretty much drop it 15 times, which is double the amount, or almost triple the amount of times that you could drop it waist height that you normally would on average. So it's pretty good. But still, when you hear that, you're like, I can only survive 15 drops? That's just a number that they put on there. I'm assuming if it really just depends on how it drops.
Yeah. And if it's in case or not.
Yeah.
Because that's assuming this is just the glass. I don't
Right.
even think that's assuming this is in a product.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Or anything like that.
Yeah. The way that they were testing it too is they kind of had this swinging pendulum, and they would just drop it onto this like piece of just hard concrete, and it would smack it like directly on the face of the device.
Yeah. So that's just how many times can you throw a piece of glass at the floor before it breaks.
Yeah. Yep. Now, the coolest thing that I saw here, and I don't know if they're gonna show it. I don't know if it was in the keynote, but it was like a, I think it was on. It might have been on CNET, but essentially it was a fingerprint-proof matte glass option that they were giving, or that they were sampling, and it actually looked really good. And I would love to have that on my cell phone because I hate fingerprints so much. I wish I could show you an image of it. Let's see if it was on CNET. But would you mind, like, would you use a matte screen if you didn't get fingerprints on it? Or would you rather it just be completely transparent?
I guess I prefer not to have screen prints on it.
Here,
Like,
I'm gonna show it to you too. It's
Yeah.
around the it's
I
a
pref- I
it's
prefer not having like screen fingerprints on it.
yeah, it's just so unsightly, and like, I don't know, if they can get rid of that, that'd be pretty dope, because it doesn't look like it would affect it in any real way. You know what I mean? That'd be the
Yeah,
only thing
like
I'd be
versus,
worried about.
Like true transparency or whatever. you
Yeah.
know?
So it's at
I'd prefer no fingerprints then.
it's
over
at the
true
1 minute 48 mark, by the way, where you can
Okay.
kind of see her looking at it. But she rubs her finger on it and it doesn't show any fingerprints at all. And you can see like it is like a matte black finish. And then she shows like a textured version that they added to it, which they can do. And they're saying it's meant for watches and stuff, but I mean, I would like to have a phone like that, to be honest.
Dude, you really like have to make the textured one pretend to be like a.
Hell yeah, dude. I would just constantly rub my fingers on it all the time. It's pretty dope. All right, moving on. Mavic Pro 2 might have interchangeable lenses, which would be one of the first consumer drones where you can change the lens out. Right now, only the Inspire version, you can do that, which would be dope.
Yeah, it's like the only one that would be less than $5,000 that could do that, basically.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. But I mean, there is less uses you'd want that for a drone, but still would be very useful for those niche cases.
Yeah. Essentially, like, whatever camera that they're using now is a pretty good lens for a drone.
Yeah, because like for a drone, when do you really just not want like telephoto?
Yeah.
There's not as many uses just because you're gonna have to get it close to something or really far away,
Yeah.
and drones aren't gonna do that. So I don't know, but like there are definitely few use cases where I think it could be really cool. Like stick a prime on it and like fly it right up next to a building. That could be really cool.
Yeah. Or if you're doing like a chase scene, you can get like a 50 millimeter prime on there.
Yeah,
That would be kind of cool.
but for most use cases, I still see people just using a telephoto.
Yeah.
Because I mean, most drone footage, for better or worse, is hey, I went to the beach and brought my drone so I could look cool and be Casey Neistat.
Yeah. Or just take a landscape.
Yeah, that's 95% of drone use cases, I think.
Yeah. It's pretty cool though. Hopefully we see more of it soon.
Yeah, but no, I mean, hey, dude, more options is always better. And like I can see a market of that smaller use case who has a project idea in mind
Yeah.
that this is going to be perfect for.
Yeah, and you don't have to buy, like you said, a $5,000 drone that you have to fucking lug around with a stand with it and shit. Like this folds up and shit.
Yeah, especially when you're going to have to spend $1,000 on the lens.
I mean, I would definitely buy. I don't have a drone yet. I always wanted to get one, but I haven't felt the need to. But if this one came out, this would be the one that I'd probably get. I could change the lens out if I wanted to, but it's also a Mavic, so it folds up really nicely.
I would look into some of the other Mavic options too, or like the Phantom options, whatever. Like the DJI, like the smaller, like some of their smaller ones are really cool, and I think some of the smaller ones are actually better for just more uses in everyday people. Because they do have that one cool one that you can basically use inside a room.
Yeah, the Spark, I think.
Yeah, I personally would look more into those, I think, than like the big boy.
Mm. This one's pretty cool though. So there's gonna be two coming out. The Mavic 2 Zoom, and then the Mavic 2 Pro. I mean, maybe if I get one, I get like a racing drone. 'Cause I probably wouldn't use it too much for like actual photography.
Yeah, like that's why the smaller ones have more interest to me.
Just zoom
And
them around.
well, isn't the Mavic smaller?
Yeah,
Yeah, like I think Mavic would be a good size, or like the Spark.
the Spark is
Because like
the
the full
smallest
size,
one.
right? Because their full size ones I mean, they're big. They have limited uses. To be honest.
Yeah, they're like production drones. They're like actually meant for like filming. Yeah, that's like the Spark, the Mavic, then I think the Phantom, then the Inspire is the biggest one.
Yeah. So I think maybe the Mavic, but even honestly, I'd probably still buy a Spark, just because like I think some of the bigger ones, it's like, okay, you have to have a use case that you know you're going to use this for, and preferably if you're going to, you're gonna that's more of, I don't know, maybe not a career, but like that has to really be your hobby, is like getting that landscape shot.
Yeah.
And if it's not, I see a lot more use out of the Spark than like it being a cool, I bought it and I used it twice in my life and now it sits on a shelf.
Yeah. We actually used the Mavic on one of the Tastemaker episodes. And I was a little afraid from looking at like online footage. Like it's probably going to look a little grainy, like cell phone footage. But the footage is actually really good on the Mavic. Like it looks pretty damn good. So if you're ever thinking about getting a Mavic, but you want like better image quality, get the Mavic because it does have good image quality.
All right, yeah. I think that is the sweet spot.
Yeah, me too.
But I think more people probably should just buy a Spark.
Well, the Mavic also has a lot better battery too.
Yeah, that's true.
Google Pixel 3 rumors. Have you seen these yet?
Yeah, on and off. It looks I mean, I kind of like it and I kind of don't.
I'm just not very inspired by the notch and chin. I don't know why they're going with that design option.
I bashed that a lot, and then I've done a lot more research, and I found we are in a world where it's kind of shitty that like everyone makes jokes that you're copying Apple. There's a lot more to it than that, is what I found, where long story short, a lot of the phones are having bezels on them now, basically because, hey, everyone was trying to get that contract. So, yeah, the only high quality screens have bezels now. Like, you can't buy a high quality screen that doesn't have a bezel. So, like, you're basically like, how, if I make a phone this year, I have to have a bezel then.
Interesting.
Or else you're not getting a screen.
Oh, that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
That does kind of suck. That makes sense too. That
Because
makes sense.
Like all the manufacturers want to copy that and follow that. So then like the actual hardware makers or manufacturers, when they're trying to source parts, are like, oh, you can get this. And like, that's it now.
Yeah. That does kind of fucking suck. Because like I don't really mind the notch too much, but when you add the chin on there, it kind of looks a little ridiculous.
I'm okay with it. I agree. The chin's not the greatest. It really isn't. But I actually like the rest of it. Like top half I actually love, even with the notch, just because they did do a really good job of shrinking bezels. Like that is like the amount of bezel that's there is aesthetically pleasing to me. But
yeah, it's not bad.
The total thing all together is like,
yeah, I'm not. Design wise, it's a little funky on the face of it. But that being said, I'm more interested in the camera that this one's gonna have.
Yeah, like I mean, in the back, it looks like a Pixel. It really hasn't changed.
And I think they also found out that in like some of the leaks of the next Android update or something, it should have wireless charging. So if you're waiting for that, then you're probably gonna get it in the Pixel 3.
Woo.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Like,
I'm the same way with it. It's nice to have.
it's like cool. It's the new phone with, it's the new good phone with a notch. I'm like, I'm interested in Apple rumors this year, but like honestly, just phones suck now. It's
I
just
think
not
phones are
nice.
cool now, but really
I-
just the iPhone. It was the only one that really interests me.
No, I mean it's one of those things where it's like, okay, like they did the 10. That was big and cool, but like otherwise every year it's just like here's a slightly better phone.
Yeah.
It's boring, dude, to me personally.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, okay, this looks like a improved version of the Pixel 2. Cool. The S9 looks like an improved version of the S8. Cool. Until this year, everything was an iPhone 6.
And that's
Cool.
what that we were talking about that a while back. It's like how much better can you get with a slab of, how much better can you get with a slab basically? There's
Yeah.
only really so much, but I think the folding technology might be the only next way to go. Have something that kind of folds out into like an iPad thing, which would be cool.
Like if Andromeda ever actually came out, because I still think that looks like a really cool, interesting project, but it's never going to happen.
Yeah, I think that's the only real other way you can go with it, because like we were saying, like the slab design form factor, unless you just get 100% screen, that's it. There's no other way you can make that phone look different from anything else other than the back.
Yeah. Yeah, the chin's too big. I'm
Yeah.
okay with it. I'm okay with some chin, to be honest. I'm not a huge hater of the A chin, but that's too much chin for how small the rest of the bezels are.
Yeah, it makes it look a little funky. It's also on a white screen area, which makes it look even worse. But it does look a little funky. I wish they could have gotten rid of that chin, but like you said, I guess that's just the screens that they had.
Yeah, well, because like I'm okay with like a little bit of chin just so I have somewhere to put my thumb. I'm not against that, but it's got to be a bit more balanced out than that is.
Yeah, it's a pretty
you're gonna
prominent
make-
chin.
Yeah, like if you're gonna make the top bezels like that small, like you have to make the chin smaller. You can still have a chin and have it look okay, but the chin can't be like 8 times the size of the bezels.
Yeah.
They can be, like 2 times or 3 times.
Right. And I don't know why that notch is so big. Unless they're doing a Face ID, which wouldn't make any sense. Doesn't really need to be that big. Look at Essentials notch. It was like a tiny little thing for the camera, and that was it. Camera and speaker.
It wasn't even a speaker, it was just camera.
Oh, it didn't have a speaker in the thing?
No, it just had a little tiny camera U, which looked weirder to me, honestly.
Yeah. No, I thought it looked pretty good.
I mean, it doesn't look bad. It's just that it looked more.
I would prefer that than this with a chin, basically.
Okay, yeah. If you had to have the chin, yeah. Okay, I see that. I mean, I'm okay with that notch actually, but
It's not too bad.
just whatever, dude. I don't why, but okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
my next phone's probably gonna be iPhone, but we'll see. We'll see what kind of if this comes out. If they can
Well,
make up for all of this with like a 48 megapixel Sony CMOS stacked sensor camera, then I'd buy it. But that would be probably the only situation. They have to have
I mean,
a crazy camera in there.
yeah, we'll see when that time comes for me personally, but like I'd prefer that kind of notch than a longer notch, to be honest. I'm okay with short and chubby. I'd prefer short and chubby over like long and skinny.
Okay.
And that's just because notifications, basically. Because you're like, that's the downside of those notches. Is basically you have to
Drop everything down.
right. You have to either drop everything down or split the notifications. And if you have more room there to split those notifications, I'm more of a fan of that.
What about moving the notch all the way to the corner?
Yeah.
I wonder if that would be possible, because then you could actually fit all of the notifications in the top bar.
It'd be possible, but like
It
I
would
think
look
that would look
goofy.
even weirder.
It
Yeah,
would
that
look goofy. You would
Like, if
definitely
it was
not be able to have a
asymmetrical.
chin.
Yeah, no.
No chin at all.
Not asymmetrical.
But I'm wondering if maybe something like that could actually work out. I don't know. All right. Intel's 10 nanometer architecture delayed till the end of 2019, basically 2020.
Yeah. Well, we reported this multiple times, but it was always like it'll come out next year, maybe not 2 years.
Yeah.
Rip Intel.
They can't figure it out. They can't get it done.
Other Intel news. The biggest rumor is the next i7s are not going to have hyperthreading.
Yep.
Only i9s, because that's a thing now, apparently. Now, if you want an i9, that's the only way you can get hyperthreading. You have to now spend like $600 to have hyperthreading. What the fuck, Intel? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, why are they doing that?
Because they've always tried to keep it only for like their premium shit to make you pay more. That's literally the only reason.
So stupid. Yeah, they're going to be dropping the i7 to 8 threads, 8 cores, 8 threads.
So it's a glorified i5.
Yeah,
which is 6 cores, 6 threads.
And then basically
Meanwhile,
bumping the i9 branding up to i7.
Well, meanwhile, you can spend $150 and get 8 threads, 8 core, 16 threads from AMD.
Yeah. AMD has a good window to come back.
Yeah, they do. Especially with all the stupidity Intel's doing lately.
Stupidity, the delays, their technology is not where it needs to be. All of this snafu with Apple, AMD could come in and start swinging. But will they? That's the question. Will they?
Yeah, I don't know. For me, price performance though, that's like it's just anti-consumer and it's annoying, to be honest. Like, well, we're gonna come out with a new part and we're gonna take away everything that these parts have always had and just put them on the new part to make you spend more money.
Yeah, they don't have any good reason as to why they're doing it. I couldn't figure it out. Like, there was no like technological reason behind it.
No, it's just for money.
Yeah.
That's it. Literally it.
We'll see too if any like public outrage comes of it and maybe gets them to change that. I doubt it.
From nerds, yes. Anyone else, no. Who cares?
We'll see. Actually, the only one that would really change it would be production. Someone like Apple saying, you know what, fuck you.
There.
Otherwise, I don't think they give a shit about what consumers think.
Yeah, no, because that's literally just anti-consumer.
Yeah. All right, so here is an interesting. Moving on to Apple news. So this was like a MacBook Pro i9 review. Jared called it an advertisement. It's by some photographer dude, Austin Mann.
He knows what he's talking about when it comes to photography, though. Like he's good at that. He's really good at that.
Yeah, some of these images are fucking gorgeous. But just to put it in perspective, his last laptop was I forget exactly what it was. It was a late 2013 MacBook Pro. So
and
then
I have a 2012, so I know how bad they suck now.
So now he gets an i9 MacBook 2018, and he goes, "Wow, this thing's a lot faster." Doesn't talk about any of the thermal throttling or anything like that. But that's not what I cared about.
No, you didn't say a single negative thing throughout the entire thing. That's why I called it a paid chill.
Yeah.
Because it was like,
I mean, if I
for
came
a review, you're supposed to like review the product, just not go, "This is great."
Well, if I came from a 2013 MacBook, I would definitely think anything you gave me this year would be the best thing ever.
Yeah.
But what I thought interesting was his little piece here. It says, why convert to HEVC, H.265? Converting motion content to HEVC can be helpful for a few scenarios. For me, I'm often in areas where the internet connection isn't great, and if I want to send a bunch of footage off to an editor, converting to HEVC can cut my file size down by 10 times without noticeable quality degradation. If the speeds of this test remain true over multiple files, I can convert 25 gigabytes of 4K motion to 2.5 gigabytes in 10 minutes, all on the MacBook in my backpack. This is great for quick social media posts and other online content, but if you're creating serious content where top quality color dynamic range is key, I would not recommend converting to H.265. So I thought this was interesting because I didn't know that it was that much more efficient. If you can essentially convert 25 gigabytes down to 2.5 gigabytes, that's a pretty big deal because I've used HEVC only from the iPhone's footage, only from using HEVC 4K on the iPhone, and it does look really, really good. That's the only way you can record 4K 60 on the iPhone. It looks great. It does have a little bit of bit rate issues here and there, like you get to see a little bit of artifacting, but it's not like you can't really notice it unless you look for that shit. So I'm going to start doing some testing, like pretty hardcore testing on HEVC, because I couldn't really find much information about it other than people just saying, wow, this is really efficient. I want to look at how much it's degrading. I want to look at the ways it's degrading. I really want to do a deep dive on HEVC, because that's something that I can actually offer to this channel that maybe other channels can't do. Like, I've been looking at bit rates and, encoding stuff for a while now, and HEVC is promising. And if we can figure out basically a way to get an easy way to test that protocol, then hopefully other reviewers will be able to implement that testing into their protocol. That way we can see, okay, this laptop can encode HEVC by this much amount. Because I really think if it's able to do that, a lot more professional photographers will basically do all of their backups in HEVC. Maybe they might not serve content in HEVC, but they can encrypt in HEVC, which would save them a lot.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to dig more deep into that, and I'll get back to you guys. It might take me a week or two to do that testing, but I'm interested in seeing the results. It looks, from what I've seen, I can't really tell too much of a difference from regular H.264, but that's a lot. Like, right now, my NAS is I've already filled up about 1.5 terabytes, and I got, I think, four full terabytes in there of just archived content that I'll probably never watch again, and I'll probably never use again. I just do it just because it's a good idea to do. So if I can essentially encode all of my files from here on out to HEVC and save myself, that much more space, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Be huge.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Save me a lot of money in the long run. So we'll see. Shout out to Austin Mann. Hope you're enjoying that i9 MacBook Pro. Hopefully you upgraded it. All right, did you see this? The redesigning Mac OS Medium post.
No, I'm looking through it now.
So this guy basically, he's like a UX case designer, UX UI designer, and he basically...
Those are always scary.
Yeah. Some of these are a little bit...
As a programmer, UX teams sometimes are very scary.
Yeah, so it's a little bit Johnny Ive-esque. I don't know how much functionality goes into this, but looking at the way he was kind of breaking down UIs and how we use iPads and how we use like mobile technology, he wanted to kind of implement that into Mac OS. And what he kind of came up with was this idea of the flow, which is essentially like a windowed sort of timeline that you would use.
Let's make it a Chromebook, is what I'm seeing pretty much.
Make it a Chromebook?
Yeah.
Is that how Chromebook does it?
Kind of. Well, see what the flow, well, not with the flow, but like the base UI design, yeah. Like, this is interesting. It's basically just doing like split tiles.
Yeah. Yeah, so essentially the way, like, you would open an app and it would open in its own sort of, I guess, tile.
Yeah, it's like he's using ideas of a window manager, basically.
Yeah, it's like an efficient, like, native window manager, which, because, like, right now, before I even set up the show, right, I have to put my zoom in this window and resize it to a spot. I have to respot my OBS window. I have to resize my OneNote window. I come over here, I resize my browser window, and it is like it's not very intuitive, I do have to sit here and resize windows, where this flow mechanic, it sort of does all that for you, which I think is actually pretty interesting.
I personally would hate this.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure say you get an
fact
option to use Windows, would you probably would never use the flow
No.
option?
Anything that does not let me stack something vertically, no. If I can only do something horizontally, no.
What if you could option it vertically, but it was a flow?
No, I'd need it. I'd be able to have, if I can't put 4 quadrants.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, then I'm not a big fan of it personally.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know if
Like,
he,
I don't
know if
want
he
it
mentions
to
that
do
here.
One thing, and then we have to take an extra action to scroll something past to get back to that, instead of just putting it in a corner.
Right. Yeah, this is all based on like a split view timeline sort of thing.
Yeah. Like, it's a very interesting idea, but me personally, I would hate this.
Yeah. So essentially, for you, you would maybe this would. So essentially, you could have 3, 4 apps on the screen, but they would all be next to each other in a horizontal flow. And one of the ideas was you could save flows. So you could open up one. Say you always used Chrome and OneNote together. You could save that flow design and open that up by itself, and then swipe over to your next flow save. Which
I mean, this is very heavily influenced by mobile, and I think that's fantastic for mobile. But if I put this on a computer, it would drive me insane.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of want to try it. I don't have a window manager though. Maybe I should just download a window manager. Do you use one at all?
And Linux, yeah. But even then, that's rarely, just because like they're for some people and they're not for some people.
Yeah, I always find myself fiddling with resizing windows.
Yeah, I don't have that problem. So, but I also like.
I don't know
that,
why
like,
I do it
actually
either.
have
Maybe it's an
things
OCD
on
thing.
the screen. Like, I prefer to have as much information on one main screen as possible, and a window manager in this style will not let me do that.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
it's like, I
I'm
mean,
the
this
same
is
way
great.
though. I'm the same way.
This is great if you want to have you want to have Twitter open all the time while you're also doing something else. But like, if you have like I would not want to put everything I normally put on like this. Because normally how, like, even in my normal workflow, it's like, okay, here's a web browser, here's my my IDE, then here's a terminal window or like console window, things like that. Like, I want all of those on the main screen, not just like, oh, now I have to scroll over to my terminal. Oh, now I'm gonna scroll back to my web browser to see if it worked.
Yeah. Well,
It's
I'm
much
assuming
easier and better for me to just have all of that information on the screen at once.
I'm assuming you would be able to do that manually.
Yeah, but not if they're all in just a small column. Fuck
No,
that.
but that's just the flow. Like, you still
Yeah.
get window options. So
like,
I think
this would be great if I wanted to look at Flipbook on my computer.
No, I think this would be great in any situation because there's no window manager for either operating system. You know what I mean? Like, you have to actually download a window managing system. None of them have like a native. Actually, Windows kind of has one now. Like, if I were to take this and I would just flick it to the side, it would split view it with whatever else I wanted it to view. So that's kind of better than what Mac has now. 'Cause Mac doesn't have any.
And this is like, the problem with this is, he's right, where some of this is great. This would be great on like a MacBook. And that's where he is coming through all of this. And I hate to break the news that there's more than just a MacBook.
Yeah.
Like, oh, scroll through the flow, use 3 fingers and scroll over. Yeah, I'm going to do that on my iMac. Uh-huh. Because I'm not using your shitty Magic Mouse.
No, you would have to figure out like mouse gestures or keyboard strokes or something. You wouldn't be able to just do it with a MX Master. I don't know. I want a fucking window manager. I need to get one.
I mean, yeah, if that's what you like, this would be great, and this could be cool. But I'm just saying, for me personally,
See, Jerry's this guy. This is what his windows look like. Which is kind of what mine look like, except I sit here and I have to fucking pull one up like 2 pixels and then move this one over to 3 pixels. And it gets fucking maddening. And I think maybe it's because I have OCD and I don't know it. Moving on. iPad Pro rumors from Mako Takara basically suggest, now listen to how stupid this is. One, they're going to be getting rid of the headphone jack. And by the way, supposedly this rumor mill is not very trusted. So just take these with a grain of salt. But the idea is they're going to be removing the headphone jack and putting the smart connector on a vertical orientation. So essentially, because of the way Face ID works, you would always have to use your iPad this way. And the keyboard attached to it would be in a vertical orientation. So not this way where we normally would use a fucking Mac or a laptop. It would be this way. And also getting rid of the headphone jack, which would make no sense whatsoever to do anything of the sort.
Yeah, on both of those, that's a big nope from me.
Yeah, that would be downright silly if they did that. That's why I kind of believe that these are fake rumors. There's no way they would do that. There's no way.
Yeah, that's what I said before the headphone jack disappeared.
Well, I'm not surprised if the headphone jack disappears, sadly.
Which is, again, stupid. But
Sadly.
hey, you should buy Beats that we now own.
No, never buying those things.
That's definitely not the reason why we did it, is not to sell you more crap products.
No, definitely not buying those things. But if they fucking put the smart connector on a vertical orientation, but then again, you think, how can Face ID only work in a vertical orientation? They have to be able to figure it out.
I mean, honestly, even if that's the case, that's okay. I can lift it up and like sign in, and then still. How is that stopping me from then setting it down on a dock to work with it?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. There's no way. All they would have to do is
Not
just
like
say
the 20-pound beast. I have to like use massive amounts of effort to make it vertical.
What?
That's
Can you say that into the microphone?
It's teen mom time.
Oh my god.
You guys heard it here first. It's teen mom time. Go put it on in there. I'll be in there in a little bit.
Just watch Sharknado or Shark Octopus, whatever. Sharktopus, dude.
All right, let's finish this up so we can go watch Teen Mom. So, anyways, this is literally the dumbest idea ever.
Yeah.
You have to go to Xfinity Stream. Hey, by the way, you guys want to know a little hack? If you can get your parents or your friends or your aunts or your uncle's Xfinity account, you sign in to Google Chrome, and then you can stream Xfinity to a Chromecast by streaming the browser, because they won't let you stream it through like its own app, I guess. But that's the way you can get around it. So you basically get free cable, and that's kind of how we've been getting our free cable, our Viacom channels. You know how to Chromecast it from here, right? All right. Did you see the Logan Paul Casey Neistat interview?
No.
I'm actually quite surprised at this because it was pretty good. Casey did a pretty good job of interviewing it. Right now, it's currently sitting at 125,000 likes, 73,000 dislikes, with almost 4 million views. Very popular video. And he basically asked, like, he did a good job of calling him out on his bullshit, but he didn't really answer anything, which was I kind of wish he pushed him a little bit harder to answer some things. He let him dance around a certain topics.
Is anyone surprised you didn't answer him?
No. I'm not surprised.
Question: Are you an idiot? Well, you see, the term idiot means.
He talks about the Suicide Force video, like what was going on in your head in there. He talks about
what was going on in your head in there? Money.
Yeah, but his answer actually made sense. He was like, he said, he's fucking Logan Paul. Whether anyone likes it or not, he is Logan Paul. He does have he was the top YouTuber at the time, and he was making shitloads of content. So his explanation was that he stopped thinking about his life as like, he stopped seeing people as people, and he started seeing them as like
content.
It's all
content. Yeah, that's why I've never really enjoyed any of like the daily vlog style crap.
Yeah, it's all just what do we do today? There's no humanity to it. And that's why he said, and then he started saying like, oh, I was laughing because it was a defense mechanism. And then Casey was like, was it really though? Like, is that like, that's a stupid cop out. And I agree with him. That doesn't make any sense to me. You don't laugh at something like that as a defense mechanism. It was strictly, you were trying to get content and you fucked up. and he didn't really take responsibility for that. And I don't know, you kind of get into the psyche of Logan Paul a little bit, but I just thought it was more interesting on how Casey, like his mindset into the interview. He seemed a little bit like on the offensive, which you don't really see Casey Neistat like that, which is kind of why I like this interview. So I would recommend it if you're a Casey Neistat fan.
I know he's trying to do some new, cooler stuff, so I'm interested to see how that goes. And I think some of these interviews might be something he's trying to actually do well.
Yeah.
Because after the whole NBC fiasco, I know he was talking about trying to figure out, like, he was very interested in what his next project was. So I'm thinking this could be it, and that could be really cool.
Yeah.
Like, it does do kind of like that interview style podcast kind of thing.
Yeah. Because he's the kind of guy, too, that could get big people,
Yeah.
to interview with. And I think the Logan Paul interview might be a jumping point for that. Like, I would love to see him interview, like, someone like Donald Trump. You know what I mean? Or someone of that caliber. Because, I mean, if you go to New York City, it's pretty crazy, but everyone knows who Casey Neistat is in New York City. And that's a gigantic fucking city. It's kind of weird how much power he has in that city. But that's kind of cool if you can... Because I trust him. I do trust him in the type of content that he provides and his outlook on things. So it would be cool to see him interview other more controversial figures. Now, our last topic, and I'm sure we both have the same opinion about this, but Alex Jones has been slammed with a 30-day ban from Facebook for hateful videos. And he's was also got his live capabilities removed as well, which I found interesting as well, for violating its community standards on Facebook. And then I think 4 videos were removed from his channel on YouTube as well for violating videos. So
I mean, it's for me, it's a private platform. They're allowed to do that, and like that's been an issue. I mean, there's been issues that haven't necessarily been from his content, though some of his content's of course racy. That, I mean, he's a shock jockey. That's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like, I know, example, like my mother, the biggest thing that she's actually mad at Facebook about is the amount of abuse people like school shootings get, basically. Where like people are saying it's false flags and things like that and just harassing them.
Yeah.
And who does that?
Yeah. So it's like Facebook and YouTube and whoever can do whatever the fuck they want. And they should be allowed to do whatever they want. So as someone that falls more on the right side of things, conservative right side of things, I understand that you don't want the government getting involved in this. But then I go on Twitter and I see conservatives freaking out about this and how
you're all being silenced
on
the platforms.
And it's like, do you understand? Like, you don't want the government to come in and regulate these private companies to allow certain speech.
Right, but my free speech on this private worldwide platform.
Oh, it doesn't make any sense.
Isn't regulated.
Because that's a trick. Like, I understand, like, this could be a slippery slope. I get that too, right? Hey, we don't want someone spouting out. You should be able to let anyone just talk about anything that they fucking want, whether it's harassment, whether it's wrong, whether it's right. It doesn't really matter. That is part of wide discourse.
Oh yeah,
it's a good thing.
I mean, I've been very much on a journalist side of like, no, free speech is incredibly important.
Yes.
Like, I will defend that, but at the same time, like, it's a private platform,
right?
Like,
it's a private company.
It's not protected there.
Their goal is not to make sure that you can say whatever you want. Their goal is to make money, unfortunately. But that's the goal of most companies. If you want to start a website where you allow any types of speech to be had and you're allowed any types of harassment,
you're totally allowed to do that.
You can start one up. And I'm surprised no one has really done that.
Oh, they've tried, but
it gets filled with trolls really quickly, and then no one wants to be around it.
Yeah, like the people have tried that, and they're usually just cesspools because the only people who usually can't apparently use free speech on private platforms are people who are like, oh, yeah, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why you got banned. I'm not surprised.
Exactly. I guess 4chan is the only true successful, true free speech platform out there.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's like, it's a private company, dude.
And
Like,
I guess Reddit too.
it's like you can't go into like your job and like spout whatever you want.
Yeah, you
know,
can't.
there's no difference.
No, and that's a great point. If he gets paid by YouTube and Facebook for putting content out there, then he works for them technically, and he has to abide by their rules. And their rules state, hey, you can't incite violence. You can't put your viewers attacking whoever. Now, Now, if you're Facebook and you're YouTube and you see this, it is tricky, and I do feel for them in a situation like this because, listening to that Zuckerberg interview on Recode, he does not, like, he was talking about the Holocaust deniers, and he's Jewish, and he's like, it hurts and it sucks to see that, but people should have the right to view things the wrong way,
Yeah.
and he does agree with that. So whatever it is that what happened with Alex Jones wasn't because he was limiting free speech. It was just a policy thing. He fucked up some way. It just violated a policy. They had to give him the ban.
Yeah.
You can still go on Facebook and put as much racist bullshit as you want out there. You won't be limited. You won't be banned unless someone bans you from it. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I think you're allowed to say whatever you want. And it's like, I don't know, a lot of those places, like, it's hard to get banned.
Yeah.
Like, you got to try.
Yeah. I've never really seen anyone banned on Facebook.
Yeah.
This
like,
might be one of the first times.
All of those places are like, you got to try to get banned.
Yeah.
And, like, if you're saying, hey, school shootings are all fake and they're all just, like, crying for attention, so you should harass them. Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting that Alex Jones is in the zeitgeist of today's political discourse. That's what I find more interesting. The fact that he actually has, like, I mean, I have a lot of friends that, like,
weekly meetings with President Trump or whatever. No.
I mean, I have friends that, like, love Alex Jones. They watch him all the time, and I find that insane. I mean, I get that he's entertaining, but there's a point where you start to believe it if you watch it too much. You gotta always keep, like, who knows? Not everything he says is wrong either. I've followed him for a little bit as well, but nowadays it's easy to see that he's just trying to sell you dick pills. Like, it's so easy to see through his bullshit. It's absolutely insane. Like, before it was a little bit more difficult. He had actual evidence and he had actual tapes and shit like that. But nowadays it's like he's a little bit off the fucking rocker.
If you are paranoid, he will sell you whatever you need.
Yeah.
That's what he is. Dude, he's just a paranoia salesman.
Yeah. He's a necessary evil, in my opinion, too. He is a necessary evil. You need someone like this guy to just make sure that who believes in this kind of stuff, so you can sell him dick pills.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, how is a dick pill seller necessary?
You gotta know who those people are, so you can sell them dick
mark
pills.
the idiots. Okay, got it.
Yeah, it's a fiscal a fiscal advantage.
You gotta know who's dumb enough to buy dick pills, so
Yeah.
you can just keep that in your back pocket if you ever need to sell some dick pills.
I guarantee you, Facebook has so many tag words on his audience, and just sell all that shit to advertisers for a good amount of money, because they're easily advertised too. All right, let's get out of here. I gotta go watch Teen Mom. Make sure you guys follow us at NoLife Digital on Twitter, Instagram, and our website, nolife.digital. We'll catch you guys next week. And also, be on the lookout for the HEVC video. Be on the lookout for the Witcher 3 review. A little late on that, but don't worry, it's coming. As well as the new podcast, which should be up. We're talking about personal finance and saving money. Let me ask you something. In my new podcast, before we go, I talk about personal finance. Do you actually use an app or something that tracks all of your transactions and categorizes them?
All of them, no. but invoicing, yes.
See, that was a point I made in the personal finance piece of it. I was like, I really don't know many people who actually track all of their transactions, and it's something that I think everyone should be
It's one
doing.
of those things too, where it's like I'll track credit card, yeah, but if it's cash,
Yeah.
I don't care that much. Once I take out $40, I accept I took out $40.
That's okay.
Fuck it
As
up
long
is
as you,
like fun.
as long as you have a way where you can say, I spent this much this month on clothing, this much this month on food, this much this month on shoes or whatever. Tracking that kind of stuff, because it's surprising the amount of people that don't do that. And that's like, you gotta start doing that if you expect to do any sort of saving, any sort of budgeting. All right.
No, put almost everything in the bank and just live off ramen, basically.
That's like a lot of people do that. So listen to the podcast. You might, I recommend some things to help you with that. All right. We'll catch you guys later. Peace.